but the first one is about scale drama when you weigh yourself, which I honestly don't know a woman who hasn't wrestled with some scale drama or isn't currently wrestling with some scale drama. So this is so common, right? But this community member says, on a rational level, I know that there's ebbs and flows, there's ups and downs, and it could be for a variety of reasons. But she still is recognizing that she often feels disappointed, even if she's lost weight. And she says, when I'm the same weight or up, I question everything. And it often takes me some journaling and a few hours, and then I can see it as data. I don't give up anymore like I used to, but I still get this kind of reaction almost every week, and I'd like to change that. Do you have some tips on what I can do?
Well, I think this person's probably in transition of beliefs, right? Where, the women who are overreacting to what the scale says, they have this underlying belief that the scale is everything. It is, they're right down to their self-worth often, right? Then there's people who have kind of done the work and they're more neutral about their weight. And over here, they have a very neutral response to the data. They have a very rational perspective. They know to track trends over time. Their self-worth is not attached to what they weigh. And that's a very freeing place to be. And what I'm hearing is she's kind of in transition.
Yeah.
From over here to over there, which I think is amazing. She's obviously been challenging those underlying beliefs that we've all been told, that we are nothing but our weight. If you're a woman, you are nothing but your weight. And it sounds like she is doing the work to unpack what her thoughts and feelings are about the scale.
Yeah.
And I think that if you want to see your scale weight as just data, you need to believe that it is just data. And you need to probably unpack that overreaction and where that's coming from and why it's there. And then the other thing I would recommend is that she start practicing before she steps on the scale. So in the morning, if she's weighing herself in the morning, start practicing, even like visualizing, stepping on the scale and seeing maybe a disappointing number, like whatever that is, and start practicing what she wants to think about that number.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. I think the fact that she can recognize I don't give up like I used to anymore, to me is really telling that that the whatever she's been doing with her thoughts and her reactions is helping her move towards a more neutral place, right? So it might just be a matter of more time and patience, and she will eventually get there. But I would also say what I see women doing that really can contribute to the drama is analyzing the number. They're not just observing their number. They're not just noting the number. They are analyzing it, and they're applying meaning to it every single day.
Yeah,
it's working. It's not working. It's working.
How did I exercise? Yeah, and it's just like, it's too much. This is like overanalyzing.
Yes. And so what I think can be really helpful is to be intentional about at what point will you take the data that you have collected and then analyze it. So, for example, I had a conversation with one of our members recently who was wrestling with a similar situation. And we said, okay, she's going to weigh every day, but we are not going to assess. We're not going to evaluate or analyze if what she's doing is working or not working and what it means until the 4-week period. Yeah. So between day 1 and the end of the 4-week period, all she's doing is collecting. And so for her, the practice would be to collect the data. And then when she notices those like, oh, it's working, it's not working, what does this mean? I did well, I didn't do well. She shuts it down. Like, nope,
totally.
We're going to set that aside. We can do all of that assessment and evaluation in 4 weeks.
Yeah, and I think that's so important to separate observing from analyzing, because it's the analyzing that ends up causing us so much suffering, right?
Mm-hmm.
2 days ago, I lost 1.5 pounds overnight, and it literally means nothing. Now, of course, I have that perspective, but I remember a time when I would go, oh my gosh, I've lost 1.5 pounds overnight. Yesterday must have been the perfect day. Like it just, and then the next day I might be 0.5 pounds up. And then, it's a roller coaster. It was like, what I eat yesterday, now I'm going backwards. What is even happening? And it's too much. And we can't use day-to-day data to assess if our behavior changes are leading us in the direction of weight loss or not. But the other thing I want to say is there is an option that's kind of between kind of catastrophizing what the scale says and trying to tell yourself it means nothing. Okay, because what if it does mean something to you? So I sometimes talk to our members about how when you step on the scale and when you do see the data, it is okay to feel disappointed. Mm-hmm. Right. So if you have a fat loss goal and you've been putting in effort and establishing some consistency, and you are anticipating seeing fat loss at some point, and you step on the scale every day and you just aren't seeing it, hey, that's disappointing. It's disappointing to be putting in effort and not reaching our goals, and that it's okay to be disappointed. Mm-hmm. And you can process that, and you can analyze that, even if you've collected data over a period of time and you are ready to analyze it. It's just that you can analyze that data and take measured strategic action versus panicking and doing like knee-jerk restrictive reactions, right? And we have a podcast on how weight panic actually leads to weight gain over time that I would highly recommend everybody listen to, because weight panic just isn't helpful at all. It's harmful.
Yeah. The other thing that I just want to note, and I think we also have a podcast on this on should you weigh yourself or not, and how frequently you should weigh yourself. I do think it can feel a little counterintuitive for some members who are trying to have a more neutral response to the scale. Sometimes their intuitive response is to weigh themselves less, right? Mm-hmm. That can be helpful. I've certainly had that experience myself. Some of our members are pursuing that. I would like to offer, though, that it might actually be helpful per the individual to decide to weigh yourself more frequently. Because you also then get more practice in responding in a neutral way, seeing the data, seeing the ebbs and flows, the ups and downs. And so from that perspective, it's like, okay, I went from, weighing myself once a month where I get a practice once a month or once a week to I get more opportunities to practice. And therefore the result is usually you kind of become desensitized to the ups and downs.
Yeah, totally.
So just something to consider. Not saying that you have to, that you need to, or that you should, but just something for you to reflect on and see if it would be helpful for you.